Have you ever heard the phrases drive safe or get home safely? We live in a luxurious world full of technology and innovation, so it's safe to assume that many of us have operated a motor vehicle before, or if we haven't, we will at some point in our lifetimes. I've been driving a car since I was 16 years old, and I've been driving a boat since I was 13 years old, so I've seen many dangers out on the road and on the water. Driving a motor vehicle, is a complex task, and it requires a person's full attention. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the aspects of driving that make it complex, including distractions, altered states of mind, and weather. The first thing I want to talk about is the many possible distractions there are while driving a vehicle. One of the most common and most fatal distractions is texting and driving. According to Hopkins, in 2015, about 1 in 4 accidents were due to texting and driving, and the likelihood of getting in an accident was increased by 23 times if you were texting and driving. There are also other distractions while driving, as illustrated here. There's 3 types of visual, manual, and cognitive, and those are some tips on how to avoid those. Some of the common distractions that aren't texting include eating, drinking, talking to someone else in the car, daydreaming, etc. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, in 2015, 391,000 people were injured due to distracted driving accidents, and in 2016, 3,450 people were killed. Now that we know about the dangers of distracted driving, let's take a look at how altered states of mind affect the safety of other drivers. Driving under the influence is a big problem in the United States. Driving drunk can affect anyone because you can control your own decisions, but you can't control other people's. You can choose to drive sober, but you can't make someone else. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2016, 10,497 people were killed in alcohol-impaired driving accidents, which made up about 28% of all traffic-related deaths that year. And in the United States, 29 people die every day due to alcohol-impaired drivers. That's 1 person every 50 minutes. This illustration shows that over an average week, after 7 days, 203 people will have died. After a month, about 900 people have died. And after 1 year, over 10,000 people will have died due to alcohol-impaired driving. Driving under the influence of other drugs is also common. Drugs, not including alcohol, were involved in about 16% of motor accidents in 2016, according to the CDC. And marijuana users were 25% more likely to be involved in a motor accident than people with no evidence of marijuana in their system. So while the driver has the ability to control most of the distractions around them and the ability to drive sober, they cannot control the weather. Changing weather conditions affect the safety of the roadways and require even more attention of the driver. Certain weather has negative impacts on the roads. For example, precipitation limits visibility and decreases the pavement friction, and fog severely decreases visibility. And then also differences in vehicles cause safety hazards as well. Different vehicles have different drivetrains, and for example, so a big truck on a snowy road would probably be safer than a small car on a snowy road. So now you've heard my third point, let's recap what I've talked about. In conclusion, driving is not an easy task, and it requires the utmost attention of the driver. Today I talked about the potential distractions, altered states of mind, and weather, and how those affect the safety of the driving conditions. So next time someone tells me to drive safely, I'll really keep that in mind, knowing the dangers out there.